The beloved tasting room and bottle shop in the heart of Five Points, Alewife, marks its ninth anniversary next week. They're celebrating with a lineup of events ranging from an Italian cooking class to a book fair. And I'm joined now by owner and CEO Kelly Pickard. Welcome back to the program.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
I'm glad to have you. So 9 years is
Yeah,
huge, quite a feat.
it simultaneously feels like it was yesterday and also feels like it's been 20 years.
Uh-huh.
So,
What kind of changes have you seen in the industry and in your own shop since you started?
oh man, so many. I mean, so much has changed in 9 years. From kind of an industry. I mean, between changes in the industry, between existing post COVID, to just neighborhood dynamics being different. Um, I think at the heart, probably some of the biggest changes we've seen, I've heard conversations about it, but are within the beer industry. We opened at kind of the peak of craft beer, and that scene, and we've kind of had to weather how that has changed. What that it used to be when we first opened, and you'd have an event. Somebody would release a new beer, and that's all you needed to pack out the place. But now we're in a situation, both good and also challenging, is that we have access to more new beer than we can bring in every week. There's more new product coming out than what you can even stock. But so it's less about the beer and more about the space that you're creating. Some of the original advice we got was has helped us along the way.
In terms of creating a space that
Yeah,
is
that
welcoming.
it was one of the original kind of. We had somebody that we knew in the industry that had opened a bottle shop in North Carolina, and he had talked to us about, it's people who love beer. They're fickle. They'll follow the beer. And he was like, what you want to do is create a space for the people that are going to be in your community, the ones that are going to be that are going to celebrate milestones, that are going to come in every day. And I'm really glad we got that advice and kind of stuck with that, because then you can pivot and you can make changes, but still staying who you are and still offering. I mean, the beer is what we do, but the space is who we are.
And so, how is the industry itself contracting right now, or is it still as growing as it?
It's hard to say. I can't speak to like the experience that breweries are having, but I know there have been conversations about local closings, and I think for us what we've seen is just there's more choices than ever, and we're also seeing not so much just a focus on what we would call craft beer, but there's been emerging markets. We've seen more interest in cider, and mead, in CBD beverages, and not legal here yet, but THC beverages and natural wine and all sorts of movements. And we have a growing, a growing sober clientele, and we're seeing emerging kind of better options from non-alcoholic beer and other NA beverages. And I think it's just
Interesting.
I think that's allowed us to create a space for, I feel like our focus has almost gotten wider. It's more about how do we keep a space that allows more and more people to keep coming in, rather than just focusing just on, the newest beer that's coming out, the hypest beer that's coming out. How can we offer as many of the beverages that are out there to create a space for as many people as
I
possible?
love that mead is making a comeback after
Oh my gosh,
like 1,000 years or whatever.
yeah,
right?
no, it's wild, the number of people that come in. I think we had been open for maybe 2 or 3 years when we kind of changed our window signage and added the cider and mead section, and the number of people that we have come in that are just like, I've heard of mead, but they don't know what it is, but they know they want to try it. And that's been a huge growth market for us, is our addition of cider and mead. In 2016, we added additional taps so that we could keep cider and mead on tap on a consistent basis. So that's been a huge segment.
Yeah. And how about is the post-COVID recovery done, or does it continue?
I don't think it's done. I mean, I can only speak from my experience, but I think there's just so many little things that have changed. So I don't know if it ever finishes. It just sort of adapts. We've seen that. I still think people's behaviors going out have shifted. I don't think people go out as much. I know for myself, I don't. I think a lot of people during COVID invested in their homes, made them places that they want to be. I think the impact of not people of businesses not fully going back to office culture has impacted everything from restaurants and their lunch offerings to the happy hour segment. So I think there's lots of little changes that we all sort of keep weathering, and not to and also not to undermine the fact that that's just a huge hole that we all had to dig out of. And just because you made it through those impacts of trying to, pay back that debt, to all the kind of help that we got to get us through, it wasn't all free. We do have to pay some of that back. So it just, I think they linger, and you just kind of have to try to adapt to it.
Well, let's talk about the party.
Yeah,
So,
let's do it.
9th anniversary, and I understand that there's a number of things planned. There's a cooking class on Tuesday, Italian cooking.
Yeah, so and I mean, that's part of the growth too, is as a space, again, it can't just be about, that's one of the industry changes we've seen too, whether you're a bottle shop or a brewery. It's not enough just to offer the beer anymore. You've got to offer and experience things for people to do. So we have a number of events. The events this week are indicative of some of the ones we have always, but Italian cooking class on Tuesday, bringing back Vino and Vinyl on Wednesday.
People can bring their own records.
You can bring it. Buckley from Coast to Coast Records will be spinning as well. The big party on Thursday is just good beer, good people,
and a beer chug
and me
on
getting to be
Thursday.
on the other side of the bar and hugging everyone that's showing up.
Well, congratulations, Kelly Pickard.
Yeah.
Thanks so much for being here. And good
No,
luck
thank
this
you for
week.
having me.
Happy birthday.
Yeah, thanks.
All right. And we're going to give away a couple of tickets today, actually, to an Eagles tribute show, Hotel California. It's at the Florida Theater, Saturday, March 23rd. All you have to do is email firstcoastconnect@wjct.org. Just put tickets in the subject header.